Frank na Spani is could she the ruiger Holif oh Roshedava oh ale oh Roshedava oh ale oh Roshedava oh ale and share hachtan tauri oh Roshedava oh ale oh Roshedava oh ale oh Roshedava oh ale and share hachtan tauri.
Thank you everyone for coming, and like I said down there, welcoming my dad back. He loved it here. That's where he spent his childhood. He loved all of you. Stories all throughout our childhood were about all of you, every single one of you. So it's great to see you all here today. We're going to keep this short and sweet as possible. We just have a few things. You know, our program is just based on what Colm loved. You know, he loved music, he loved literature, he definitely loved Ireland, and today our program is just based on a few selections from his personal library. After everything happened, you know what you do, you go through your parents' stuff, you go through their books and their music, and so all of the books and the music that we have today are from his collection. And he would listen to them and read from them, and some of these books he would have read many times. So let's get on with it. I hope he approves of all of it. Actually, I hope that we didn't make any missteps. I don't think we did. The first up, I don't know if everyone knows, but Colm was actually born in Scotland. That is his birth country. He was born in a hospital in Glasgow, and very soon after that was brought to Ireland to be raised. So in honor of his birth country, we have Rennie Peters will read for us a poem by Robert Burns. Robert Burns, of course, is widely regarded as Scotland's national poet. Rennie, of course, is married to Adrian Peters, whose mom, Peg, was Colm's first cousin. I met Peg once. She was a lovely, very elegant woman. I will always remember her elegance, for sure. Would Rennie like to come up and read for us?
A Red, Red Rose by Robert Burns. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gan dry. Till all the seas gan dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles.
Oh, whither away, my bonny maid? Sae late and sae far in the gloaming, the mist gathers grey on moorland and brae. Oh, whither sae far we I'll be in Scotland of glory, for me and my true love will never meet again. I'm a bonny, bonny thanks for love.
Ballyheigue is where Colm spent his early childhood, and he was reared here by his adoptive parents, Ellen, and his beloved father, Edmund. My dad actually erected the plaque on the tomb to his parents in 1980. As I said, he was a keen collector of books, especially books about Ireland. And whenever he was out what he would call booking, that means just looking for more and more books to buy, if anything caught his eye that had anything remotely to do with Ireland or the west of Ireland, he would pick up. And so we found this book here called The Story of Ballyheigue, somewhere in northern Ontario, Canada. How it ended up there, I have no idea, but he bought it, and it was in his personal library. So Teresa, Colm's American granddaughter, is going to read a passage from the Story of Ballyheigue.
Westward to the sunset far, underneath the evening star, where whirls the mighty Shannon flows, round the rocks of Kerry head, o'er the churchyard where 'tis said, the relics of the Cantillon dead were taken long ago. The story of the churchyard under the sea is a well-known legend associated with Ballyheigue. The waves break out at sea some small distance, and at this spot, called the Church Banks, there is said to be a submerged graveyard which was reserved for the Cantillon family. The Cantillons, or de Cantillon, or de Cantilupes, are of Norman origin and were lords of Ballyheigue until they lost their lands in Cromwellian times and were eventually succeeded by the Crosbys. The Cantillons were, like most Irish families, attached to their ancient burial place, and this attachment led to the custom, when any of the family died, of carrying the corpse to the seaside, where the coffin was left on the shore within reach of the tide. In the morning, it had disappeared, being, as was traditionally believed, conveyed away by the ancestors of the deceased to their family tomb. Conor Crowe, a County Clare man, was related to the Cantillons by marriage. On the death of Florence Cantillon, Conor Crowe was determined to satisfy himself about the truth of this story of the old church under the sea. So when he heard the news of the old fellow's death, away with him to Ardfert, where Flory was laid out in high style, and a beautiful corpse he made. Flory had been as jolly and as rollicking a boy in his day as ever was stretched, and his wake was in every respect worthy of him. There was all kinds of entertainment, and all sort of diversion at it, and no less than 3 girls got their husbands there. More luck to them. Everything was as it should be. All that side of the country, from Dingle to Tarbert, was at the funeral. The keen was sung long and bitterly, and according to the family custom, the coffin was carried to Ballyheigue Strand, where it was laid upon the shore with a prayer for the repose of the dead. The mourners departed, one group after another, and at last Conor Crowe was left alone. He then pulled out his whiskey bottle, his drop of comfort, as he called it, when he required being in grief, and down he sat upon a big stone that was sheltered by a projecting rock and partly concealed from view, to await with patience the appearance of the ghostly undertakers. It was long past midnight, and the moon was sinking into the sea, when he heard the sound of many voices, which gradually became stronger above the heavy and monotonous roll of the sea. He listened, and presently could distinguish a key of exquisite sweetness, the notes of which rose and fell with the heaving of the waves, whose deep murmur mingled with and supported the strain. The keen grew louder, and seemed to approach the beach, and then fell into a low, plaintive wail. As it ended, Conor beheld a number of strange, and in the dim light, mysterious-looking figures emerge from the sea and surround the coffin, which they prepared to launch into the water. "This comes of marrying with the creatures of the earth," said one of the figures in a clear yet hollow tone. "True," replied another, with a voice still more fearful. "Our king would never have commanded his gnawing white-toothed waves to devour the rocky roots of the island cemetery, had not his daughter, Darfulla, been buried there by her mortal husband." "But the time will come," said a third, bending over the coffin, "when mortal eye our work shall spy, and mortal ear our dirge shall hear. Then," said a fourth, "our burial of the Cantillons is at end forever." As this was spoken, the coffin was borne from the beach by a retiring wave, and the company of sea people prepared to follow it. But at that moment, one chanced to discover Conor Crowe, as fixed with wonder and as motionless with fear as the stone on which he sat. "The time is come!" cried the unearthly being. The time has come. A human eye looks on the form of ocean. A human ear has heard their voices. Farewell to the Cantillons. The sons of the sea are no longer doomed to bury the dust of the earth. One after the other turned slowly round and regarded Connor Crowe, who still remained as if bound by a spell. Again rose their funeral song, and on the next wave they followed the coffin. The sound of the lamentation died away, and at length nothing was heard but the rush of waters. The coffin and the train of sea people sank over the old churchyard, and never since the funeral of old Flory Cantillon have any of the family been carried to the strand of Ballyheigue for conveyance to their rightful burial place beneath the waves of the Atlantic.
One merry month and middle from me home I started, left the girls at tune and nearly broke. And absolutely father dear, kiss me darling more, the pint of beer, me grief and tears, is smothered enough to reap the corn, bleed for I was born, caught a stout like torn to vanish, ghosts and goblins, brand new pair of brogues to rock the love of the bogs, frighten all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, Mike for Ballyheigue.
Every June 16th, Colm would host his own Bloomsday party in commemoration of the famous book by James Joyce, Ulysses, which followed two young Dubliners around town on June 16th. And at these parties, Colm would, read passages. These are all his bookmarks and his annotations, and I went through them all because I've never read Ulysses, and I probably never will. I've attempted it, but I don't know. Never say never. So I am going to read one passage that Colm had noted as the hero. And I'll do my best with this because I'm not much of a Joycean. He wore a long, unsleeved garment of recently flayed ox hide, reaching to the knees, and a loose kilt, and this was bound about his middle by a girdle of plaited straw and rushes. Beneath this he wore trews of deerskin, roughly stitched with gut. His nether extremities were encased in high balbriggan buskins, dyed in purple, the feet being shod with brogues of salted cowhide, laced with the windpipe of the same beast. From his girdle hung a row of sea stones, which dangled at every movement of his portentous frame, and on these were graven with rude yet striking art the tribal images of many Irish heroes and heroines of antiquity: Colm, Con of 100 battles, Niall of 9 hostages, Brian of Kincora, the Andri Malachi, Art McMurrough, Shane O'Neill, Father John, Murphy Owen Rowe, Patrick Sarsfield, Red Hugh O'Donnell, Red Jim McDermott Soggarth, O'Gowney, Michael Dwyer, Francie Higgins, Henry Joe McCracken, Goliath, Horace Wheatley, Thomas Conniff, Peg, Wolfington, the village blacksmith, Captain Moonlight, Captain Boycott, Dante Alighieri, Christopher Columbus, S. Fursa, S. Brendan, Marshall MacMahon, Charlemagne, Theobald Wolfetone, the mother of the Maccabees, the last of the Mohicans, the Rose of Castile, the man for Galway, the man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo, the man in the gap, the woman who didn't, Benjamin Franklin, Napoleon Bonaparte, John L. Sullivan, Cleopatra, Savarine Delish, Julius Caesar, William Tell, Michelangelo Hayes, Muhammad, the Bride of Lammermoor, Peter the Hermit, Peter the Darker, Dark Rosaline, Patrick W. Shakespeare, Brian Confucius, Patricio Velasquez, Captain Nemo, Tristan, the Prince of Wales, Thomas Cook and Son, the Bold Soldier, Ludwig Beethoven and Colleen Bawn, Sidney Poitier, Dolly Mount, Arthur Wesley, Lady Godiva. Valor of the Evil Eye, the Queen of Sheba, Alessandra Volta, Jeremiah O'Donovan Rosa, Don Philip O'Sullivan Beer. A couched spear of acuminated granite rested by him while his feet reposed, a savage animal of the canine tribe. Announced that he was sunk in uneasy slumber, a supposition confirmed by hoarse growls and spasmodic movements, which his master repressed from time to time by tranquilizing blows of a mighty cudgel rudely fashioned out of Paleolithic stone. Joyce.
Life goes on day after day. Hearts torn in every way. So very cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay.
In 1969, Colm moved with my mom, Judy, and 2-year-old me to Canada. They had ups and downs. It was very hard to make your way in a brand new country, a brand new place. But ultimately, he loved Canada. He loved being there, and he raised us there. And he and my mom, Judy, built themselves a very nice life. They really did. And we had everything we needed, and we were, they gave us everything. And in just keeping with Colm's love of literature and of place, I guess, he became interested in Canada and Canadian history and Canadian writers and poets. So, Colm's Canadian grandson, Eamon, has chosen himself a poem by the renowned Canadian poet by the name of Al Purdy, and he is going to read it for us today.
Brother, the wind of this place is cold, and hills under our feet tremble. The forests are making magic against us. I think the land knows we are here. I think the land knows we are strangers. Let us stay close to our friend the sea, or cunning dwarves at the roots of darkness shall seize and drag us down. Sister, we must share our strength between us, until the heat of our bodies make a single flame. While the moon sees only one shadow, and the sun knows only our double heartbeat, and the rain does not come between. Brother, I am afraid of this dark place. I am hungry for the home islands and wind blowing the waves to colored spray. I am sick for the sun. Sister, we must not think those thoughts again, for 3 half days have gone by, and we must return to the ship. If we are away longer, the Northmen will beat us with thongs, until we cry for death. Why do you stare at nothing? Brother, a cold wind touched me, though I stand in your arms circle. Perhaps the Northmen's runes have found us. The runes they carve on wood and stone. I am afraid of the stark land. Ground mist that makes us half ghosts, and another silence inside silence. But there are berries and fish here, and small animals by the sea's edge, that crouch and tremble and listen. If we join our thoughts to the silence, if our trails join the animals' trails, and the sun remembers what the moon forgets, brother, it comes to me now. The long ship must sail without us. We stay here. Sister, we should die slowly. The beasts would gnaw at our bodies, the rains whiten our bones. The Northmen's runes are strong magic. The runes will track us down, though we keep on running, past the land of flat stones, over the marble strands, beyond the country of great trees. Though we ran to the edge of the world, our masters would track us down. Brother, take my hand in your hand, this part of ourselves between us, while we run together. Over the stones of the sea coast, this much of ourselves is our own. While rain cries out against us, and darkness swallows the evening, and morning moves into stillness, and mist climbs into our throats, while we are running, sister.
Well, hello there. My, it's been a long, long time. how am I doing? Oh, I guess that I'm doing fine. It's been so long now, but it seems now that it was only yesterday. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away?
Something about Colm that you might actually know this about him. He never stopped making friends. He wasn't one of these guys who just, as he got older, his circle got smaller. His circle was widening and widening all the time. And if he was here today, he'd probably have like 30 new friends. Every time we went out to visit him on the West Coast, there'd be someone else at the dinner table, someone else. Colm and Judy's house was always kind of a clubhouse. And people just kind of coming and going throughout the day and night. And that's what he was like. And one of these new friends of his that he made later in life was a guy named Joe Rosenblatt. And Joe was a writer and a painter and a poet. And they used to get together and talk about books and politics and art. And he dedicated one of his books of poetry to Colm. And Aiden, Colm's son, is going to read us a couple of his poems right now. Oh, just one.
Yeah,
all right, just one.
So this one's called The Wild Man. His gray blue eyes appear to clash with his pallid lips. I've tried to get his leaf-strewn face to converse with me. I believe he's learned to sleep with his eyes wide open. He blinked when I promised him to keep his den a secret. Knowing I could keep a promise, a smile formed on his lips. It didn't matter whether he was asleep or in another state. The centuries have passed and still he hasn't said a word. Yet he is breathing and has caused those etiolated leaves to stir. In my cravings to be that green hopeful to the green man, I'll don a verdant costume and perform a shamanic dance, pay homage to his eminence, entombed inside a cedar tree. The spirit of the wild man demands respect and veneration. Psyches flutter here and there, or wither on a woodland vine, and memories are covered up in a mound of spongy moss.
Great selection, Aiden, the wild man.
If you miss the train I'm on, you will know that I am gone. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles.
Colm's taste was very quirky, as I mentioned. He would just go wander around rural areas, wherever he was, and drop in on what we call garage sales, or thrift stores and things like that, looking for books, looking for strange, quirky, offbeat little books. And this one is one of them. My husband, Peter Pavia, who is a writer himself, is going to read from one of these interesting little books called The Shooting of Dan McGrew. It's a collection of poems about the late 19th century gold rush in the very northwest of North America, in the Yukon, what we call the Yukon. I don't know what selection he's made, but Peter's a little quirky himself, but we love it. So here we go.
Thank you. This one's called The Trail of 98. Gold. We leapt from our benches. Gold. We sprang from our stools. Gold. We wheeled in the furrow, fired with the faith of fools. Fearless, unfound, unfitted, far from the night and the cold, heard we the clarion summons, followed by the master lure, gold. Men from the sands of the sunland, men from the woods of the west, men from the farms and the cities, into the northland we pressed. Graybeards and striplings and women, good men and bad men and bold, leaving our homes and our loved ones, crying exultantly, gold. Never was seen such an army, pitiful, futile, unfit. Never was seen such a spirit, manifold, courage, and grit. Never has been such a cohort, under one banner unrolled. As urgent to the ragged-edged Arctic, urged by the arch-tempter, gold. Farewell, we cried to our dearest, little we cared for their tears. Farewell, we cried to the humdrum and the yoke of the hireling years, just like a pack of schoolboys, and the big crowd cheered us goodbye. Never were hearts so uplifted, never were hopes so high. The spectral shores flitted past us, and every whiff of the screw hurled us nearer to fortune, and ever we planned what we'd do with the gold when we got it, big shiny nuggets like plums, there in the sand of the river, gouging it out with our thumbs. And one man wanted a castle, another a racing stud, a third would cruise in a palace yacht, like a red-necked prince of blood. And so we dreamed and we vaunted, millionaires to a man, leaping to wealth in our visions, long ere the trail began.
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me. So set 'em up, Joe. I got a little story I think you should know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. Make it one for my babe and one more for the road.
Our last reading will be by John Peters from Dublin. Again, his mom, Peg, Colm's first cousin. This piece doesn't really need any introduction, I don't think.
Thank you. I might say that Colm probably wasn't the most religious of persons, and I remember a night we had in the Strawberry Beds in Dublin 15, and just himself and myself, and we were out having a few pints and putting the world to right, and we went through all the major religions of the world and put them to bed, and I learnt a lot about religions that I'd never heard of before. But I think this poem is chosen by the family, and I'm delighted to read it. It's by our own William Butler, and it's called Sailing to Byzantium. That is no country for old men, the young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations, at their song, the salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas, fish, flesh or fowl, commend all summer long, whatever is begotten, born and dies, caught in that sensual music all neglect, monuments of unaging intellect. An aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul claps its hands and sing and louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress, nor is there singing school but studying monuments of its own magnificence. And therefore I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. O sages standing in God's holy fire, as in the gold mosaic of a wall, come from the holy fire, burn in a gyre, and be the singing masters of my soul. Consume my heart away, sick with desire, and fasten to a dying animal. It knows not what it is, and gather me into the artifice of eternity. Just one more. Once out of nature I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing, but such a form as Grecian goldsmiths make, of hammered gold and gold enamelling, to keep a drowsy emperor awake, or set upon a golden bough to sing to lords and ladies of Byzantium of what is past, or passing, or to come.
Thank you. That was gorgeous. Thank you so much. I think now is the time we bring Colm to his home. His final, he's going to be with his parents, which is where he wanted to be. Yeah, do it. Okay.
Oh, all the money that e'er I spend it in good company, and all the harm that I ever did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you. If I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town that sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, I own she has my
See everybody at Love's for a fun afternoon.
So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay, and softly call, good night and joy be with you.
I just want to thank everyone again for coming out and helping us welcome back our dad. I want to take this opportunity to make a special tribute to my cousin, Rose O'Leary. I couldn't have done any of this without her help. She's been my go-to girl. My girl on the ground is Ballyheigue. She just warning me about all the different, like, no, you can't do that now. There's a giant fair going on, and this is going on. You better change that. I mean, it would not have come together the way it has, were it not for Rose. And I think it's fitting as Michael O'Leary's daughter. I mean, that was what he was all about, wasn't he? Rose and I started out as pen pals when we were children, about 8 or 9 or 10, at the prodding of our dads. Michael and Colm always stayed in touch despite the years and the distance. They kept each other close. They kept each other close with letters and phone calls and emails and visits, and through their kids, through their daughters anyway. Yeah. So thank you, Rose. We love you. And I couldn't think of anyone better to carry on Michael's tradition of family and his pride in where he was from.
Yes.
Thank you. No more speeches or anything. Please stay as long as you like. Drink up, eat up. Lovely to see you all. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you. Music.